Eric, could you just update us, first of all, on whether Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be involved and also Rafael Varane's injury, please?
Yes, Cristiano's will be in the squad tomorrow. And Rafa Varane isn't in the squad. So he will go out certainly till World Cup. And so he will not play this in this block for Man United.
Could you just... Can he play in the World Cup?
I think so, but the prognosis, we have to wait. We have to see how it develops, how his rehab will develop.
Can you just explain to us any conversation that you had with Ronaldo and how difficult this period has been, and whether there was any issue with him being available for this game?
It's not difficult, but I think we said everything and we answered all the questions. And so he was out for one game, and now he's back in the squad as usual.
You say you answered all the questions, obviously, but I'm going to ask again. Sorry.
So you don't have to do because I don't answer anymore. So all the questions, I think everything we covered last week, everything we explained. So we have to focus on the game tomorrow. We have an important game because we want to be #1 in the group. So let's focus on that.
The only question I asked about the return, about his return to sort of training and that kind of thing. How is that when a senior player comes back?
I don't have to do it anymore. It's done. He's back. Focus on the game, and that's important. And Cristiano is involved in the squad tomorrow.
Can we talk about the other injuries, and sort of, have you got any good news on the injury front? Because we've seen the likes of Harry Maguire and others sort of training.
Yeah, they are in training. Harry, Donny, Aaron, all in training, in the team training for the preparation for tomorrow's game.
So they're available for tomorrow?
We, after the training, together with medical, I will take the decision.
Eric, do you think Harry will have an important role to play for you before the World Cup with Rafael injured?
He's always will play an important role. So he was injured, happy, and he's on the way back. So now he has to get back into games.
Obviously, some people in this country will be looking ahead to the World Cup and wondering whether he will be getting enough minutes to be involved. Do you see him getting that game time?
I understand that the interest, but we look at Manchester United. We have to get the right results and performances. So that is the main objective I look at.
If you really needed to, do you have funds to make a significant signing in January? If you really wanted to buy a player, is the money there from the club, or did you sort of spend it all or most of it in the summer?
In this moment, I said also last week, we focus on the games. And in the background, of course, it's a continually process. We're working on the squad, and I think when so we want to live top sport culture, and then you have always examine how you can improve. So that is what we will do, yeah.
Hi, Christian, you've been at the club a few months now. You spoke when you first arrived about how big you could tell the size, the magnitude of Manchester United. Have you felt any added pressure from the fan base in games? Has it felt any different to clubs you've been at before when you've played for United?
In terms of pressure on the game, no. That's been the same. I think more the focus on the outside is bigger. Obviously, you see how many fans are they training around, and the publicity around the club is a lot bigger, but the football-wise, no.
It felt like a pressure, like you were talking after the Chelsea game, about that will to go to the end, that fighting spirit. You feel like there's an added pressure from the fan base, especially after the criticism the fans had on the team last season from our poorest finish. Can you feel that within the game? Can you feel the fan base and around, like you said, that there's a bit of added pressure to get that result here?
No, I think it's very even. Obviously, I wasn't here last season, so I don't know how they reacted last season. I know the Chelsea game, I think, from the fans, of course, we heard them in the game, and I think they felt the game as we did on the pitch. We wanted to get the win, and we were disappointed going down. But obviously, as a footballer, you don't want to lose any game, so you do what you can to come back. And yeah, I think we did that, of course, with the help from the fans after with a big party. But until then, of course, we have to do it on the pitch.
But you just personally now, fitness-wise, after your injury, you feeling sharp now? You do on the pitch, especially, mate.
I know Facundo Pellistri isn't someone who gets talked about a lot, but he's likely to go to the World Cup. Do you see him as being an option long term in your squad? Because he's still not made his debut for United.
He was injured a long period. Atletico Madrid, bad injury. So he's now returning. So we have some young players there in the background in the offensive positions. Quite good competition there, and they have to battle for it to convince us, to convince me, to be in the team. So, and he's one of the options.
Christian, you've started playing with Casemiro. He's impressed as you have as well. What's he like playing with? How much do you enjoy it?
No, like I think you've seen the games. I think we like playing together. Of course, we're still starting to get to know each other well on and off the pitch. But he's a nice guy outside the pitch as well. And yeah, on the pitch now, people see his value. I mean, I think football knowledge people, they know he's been playing games like this for the last 8 years, I want to say, at Madrid. So I'm not surprised that he can cope. But no, it's lovely to play with him.
Christian, do you see this as a team that's continuing to improve? The more that you get to know the other players and the new players integrate, do you see a lot more coming from this team?
Yeah, I do. And I also have the feeling that the players feel it. And I think the fans does. I even think you guys believe it a bit. I think you can see the development in the games of how we go to the games and how we play in the games. I think there's a bit of a rising. But no, I think we're starting to believe it, and obviously there's a lot of things that we still need to do better, a lot of things we can change, but I think overall I think we're on the right path.
And do you see that this team is that far behind the likes of City? I mean, you've already beaten Arsenal and Liverpool.
I think they played together for many years. They've had the consistency for many years, and like you said, a lot of new guys are coming in, and now it's us to, and me personally as well, I think for everyone coming in to show the consistency, to be up there and stay up there and don't get many downs. So really, I think we need to show our consistency before we can compare.
Hi, Eric. Just on Harry. Before his injury, there was obviously a lot of focus on him and his performances, and I know no player ever wants to be injured. But do you think the breakaway may have helped him a little bit just to get away from it all, and when he comes back, he'll be in maybe a better frame of mind?
It's always about performance and about presentation, and I think when he's regarding his qualities, when he's acting like that, it's no problem. He's great play, great capabilities to do the job for us.
One for Christian. Obviously, we're in a stage of a season now where even a sort of a relatively minor injury may affect the chances to go to a World Cup. Is it hard to focus on this little block of games and not look too far ahead and look at the World Cup?
No, not really. I think for every footballer it's the same. I mean, obviously there's something in 6 games' time, but until then you'll be focused on the next game, and our game is tomorrow. And like I said, there's 5 or 6 games before the World Cup, so there's a lot of things at the club where you need to be in good shape.
Hi, Christian. The club's made a spectacular sort of recovery from the start of the season, if you look back to the Brentford game and the Brentford performance. I just wondered what's changed in the last few weeks. The manager, rightly or wrongly from the outside, has a sort of reputation as a bit of a disciplinarian sort of thing. Has that been a factor? I just wonder why or how have you made that spectacular improvement in the last couple of months?
Yeah, I think we started. I think the players, and I think in general, I think we started believing in what we were doing on the pitch, and obviously a lot of the 1-0 wins gave us a lot of confidence that really we could do well and really get momentum. And I think that started a bit of an extra build-up after the Brentford game. So I do think it's a bit of the belief. Obviously, of course, he wants us to do stuff, and we try to do as we can what he wants. But obviously on the pitch we have to make our own decisions, and I think the qualities we have when finally we get to know the base will be even better.
Yes, just there were some people when you first signed Christian and maybe thought you might be a squad player. I didn't think that, but some people did. I mean, did you expect to have the impact that you have had?
Yeah, I didn't want to come here to sit on the bench. That was never my aim, and I've never been like that as a footballer, to go anywhere to relax and be on the bench. So I did see my qualities to play, yes.
It seems like pretty much every single signing that Eric made during the summer has come good. It is looking very, very positive right now. Did you expect across the board pretty much all the players that came in to take the club to the next level they have done?
Well, I didn't pick any of the other players, so I think you need to ask him if he chose the right players. But I think as a players in between us, obviously we're starting to feel a connection. Like I said, it's a lot of new guys, so we're starting to get to know each other still. But no, it's a good squad and some very good players he got in. So yeah, he did well so far.
Last two questions, James and Flex.
We saw Rafael Varane's reaction last week. So this is obviously something that's playing on players' minds. Is there a message you have to those players? Because obviously you need them to focus on every game going up to the World Cup, but that must be in their heads.
Yes, but focus is then so important, because when you don't have the right focus, the risk that you get injured is even more. And they want also to go in the right shape in the right form to the World Cup. So that therefore is also important that they are in the rhythm, keep the rhythm. And so for every game you have to be good and well prepared, because that gives you a better chance that you are good on the World Cup as well. And then the third point is, we are also here in the season, and it's an important block. We have to qualify Europe. We are for here. We want to be number one in the group. That gives us out one leg or one round, and that's important as well, because that means less games in February, and that's going to be also a really period with a lot of games what we have to cover then. And of course also for the league, we have to get in the right position in the league. So and then we have the cup, and as we are here, and we want to win every game, we want to win every trophy, so we have to go for it. So stay in the right mood, in the right focus, and do it with in the spirit of the team.
So you don't have the luxury, because obviously a lot of the international managers would like the players rested before the tournament, but there's nothing you can do about that.
I think it's a wrong idea, because they have only 1 week, and then the World Cup start. So keep in the rhythm, keep in the right in the right fitness, in the right shape, and then they will be ready for the World Cup. Of they are best prepared. Of course, it's not optimum. That's also clear. It's a different World Cup, but that is something the nations managers has to deal with. But I think this is the way it has to go.
Thank you. Last question, please.
Christian and Eric, if I may afterwards, you seem to have brought a great sense of composure and quality to our midfield since you've come. Where do you prefer to play? Do you prefer to play higher up in the final third, maybe as a 10? Do you like being in a two-man pivot next to, say, Casemiro or McTominay or Fred at the base of a midfield? On a personal, where do you prefer to play in midfield?
I think I've always played in a bit of a different positions. I always start in one position and then I get moved around in the game. It's been like that in every club. So really, my thing has always been I would like to be wherever the ball is. And for me, it doesn't matter if I start as a 6 or 8 or 10. Doesn't really matter. It's more how the game's going and how I can be involved in the game. So I don't really have any preference. Just wherever the manager puts me.
And Eric. We've been really good in possession and building up. You look at the first 30 minutes against Chelsea, really dominant. As the coach, how do you get us to that next step of our development in terms of being clinical in front of goal? Is that more of a mental thing to get into the players? Is it more of a tactical thing?
It's both, but clear in our attacking game we have to develop, and it's also some really small details what makes a huge difference we have to work on. And for instance, and I showed it the team as well, in that first half in Chelsea we bring just 2 less people in front, so we had to push out more from the back. We had to do more investment to get players in front, and we were too neutral. We were actually too defensive to get the players there, because when you get numbers in the box of the opponents, obviously you have more chance to score goals.
And just last one, Sandro Martinez, he celebrated with a Manchester United fan at Old Trafford, which was an amazing moment. He did pick up a yellow card, we don't want too much of that, but is that exactly what you're looking for, that connection between the fans and the players and the passion just showing through, and players just really feeling connected with the fans and the club?
We are united, and so it's on the pitch, and we want to have a good relationship. We want to get a vibe in, that we fight together, and I think Licia really expressed that. I think always in his game with his, I call it the grinta, what he's bringing in. So in every challenge, every duel, he gives everything he has, and I think the fans, they love it. Not every player is like that, but I think you need some players in your team who express that, and that gives, I think, also a really good connection with fans.
Okay, thank you very much.